Hello, good evening. I hope you are having a wonderful day, wonderful evening, whatever. Yes, because I have no idea about whether you are watching this video during the day or in the evening. It doesn't matter as long as you keep contact with the language you are studying. It's very important to keep studying English no matter how long you have studied English your life. For example, I have been studying English ever since I was a teenager, I guess, since 1995. And ever since, my love to the language has improved, has gained higher proportions, and I believe that English has helped me improve my understanding of the world and to reach new horizons, right? New sources of information and new perspectives. Anyway, this lesson we will speak about the passive voice, but we will focus on examples rather than grammar rules. I'm not saying that grammar rules are unimportant. On the contrary, I believe that grammar rules are the basis of a steady, structured language speaking. So if you want to speak better, it's necessary to understand how the language works, right? It's like a machine. In order to operate a machine better, to know how the machine functions, you read the manual, or maybe you don't read the manual at all. You just try to learn by practicing, right? You push a button and you try to figure out what's happening. Yes, it's possible to learn by practice, learn by examples, but not only this, you can learn by examples, but combined with the structures, with the grammar rules. Okay, so no more babbling about. So yes, all of this I'm telling you, is not useless. Everything is important, and keep in mind when you are studying English or any other language, okay? All right, so let's focus on some examples of the passive voice, as I mentioned. I was given information that he will be promoted. Okay, so you are working in a company and somebody told you that a friend of yours or a colleague of yours will be promoted. So I was given information. Is this passive voice? Yes. Why is this passive voice? Because I don't know who gave me information that he will be promoted. I don't know. I don't know here, but is it possible to tell or to say who gave the information? Maybe you can include this information just after the sentence. I was given information by Bob, for example. But I'm considering that it's not defined who gave me the information. So I can say I was given information, or I could say information was given to me. So you see, there are two ways of writing the same idea. Both sentences are passive voice. So why is this passive voice? Because I have the verb to be in the past and I have the verb give in the past participle. Give, gave, given. okay? So, how many objects do we have here? Some verbs, we know that some verbs can have 2 objects. When I say that, for example, I will write in a different manner, right? And you tell me whether it's active or passive voice. Bob gave me information. So, the verb to give, which is in the simple past, has here 2 different objects. Me is an object, and information is another. So when you have 2 different 2 objects, it's possible to write the passive voice in 2 different sentences. I was given information, so the first object, which is me, becomes a subject of the sentence, or I can use the second object to become the subject of the sentence. So summarizing, when a sentence has 2 objects in the active voice, this is the active voice, right? Because Bob is the doer of the action. He is responsible for giving me information. So, this sentence has 2 objects. I can use either object to make sentences. If I have to turn this sentence into the passive voice, I can use either the first object, which in this example is the objective pronoun me. It turns I, because I is the object, and me is the objective pronoun which comes after a verb. Or I can use information, which is the second object, to make another sentence. Okay, so let's see another example. He was paid, let me see, he was paid $5,000 for his job. So this month my friend started a new job and he was paid $5,000. Okay, first, is this active or passive voice? Passive voice, because who paid him? So you can use questions to practice so that you can identify the elements of the sentence. Who paid him? I want to know the subject, okay? Is it present here? Can I identify who is responsible for paying him $5,000? No. So it's not defined, it's undefined object, but it exists because a ghost has money to pay? No. Somebody, somebody paid him. So he was paid. He was paid $5,000, right, for his job. For his job, or paid $5,000. So I can use sentences like this. This is the passive voice, which has more than one object. Another example, let me see. I can say, for example, somebody paid him $5,000. Okay, somebody, it's Undefined pronoun when you don't know who is responsible for an action, but somebody. It's a person who paid him. I can say he was paid, right? $5,000. He was paid. Actually, I made a small mistake here. It's correct, okay? I can say he was paid $5,000 for his job, but when here you have two parts of the sentence here. It's correct to say that. But pay attention here in the active voice. Somebody paid him $5,000. You have two objects to the verb pay. It's the same like here. It's like the same, but in a different perspective. Let's consider this one and this two, okay? Somebody paid him $5,000. First, let's turn into the passive voice. Okay, him. Him becomes he. He was paid $5,000. Okay? He was paid. It's a way of writing the sentence. Okay? Paid is in the simple past, so the verb to be in the passive voice has to be in the simple past. But when you, let's change and make another passive voice here. $5,000 was paid to him. So, both sentences are passive voice, okay? So, why did I say that this logic I used here was wrong? Because you start from, the analysis comes from the active voice. Active voice, okay? The active voice is, Bob gave me information. So you have two objects here. I can use either object to make a passive voice. So that's the logic you have to understand. Somebody paid him $5,000. You have two objects in the active voice, and then you make two different passive sentences in the passive voice in which the object becomes the subject. The object becomes the subject, okay? Okay, let's see just one more example. Just one more. I was shown my new office. I was shown my new office. Okay, it's my first day on the job, and as a rookie, right? I'm a rookie. It's my first day on the job, and the veterans come to show me where I will be working, to introduce me to my colleagues, my new boss, and so forth. So I was shown my new office. What is the active voice of this? For example, Beth, just an example, okay? Beth showed me my new office. My office. Show. I was shown. You see here that I can both write the simple past or the past participle of the verb show as a regular and as irregular verb. I'm just checking this on the internet, but I'm almost sure as a matter of fact, it's like this. Yeah. It's correct. Yes, my understanding was correct. Pay attention here. I will write here because we have little space here, okay? Just the verb show, the simple past can be showed, and the past participle can be showed. But there is another possibility in which the present is show, the simple past is showed, and the past participle is shown. So both verbs are correct. It's one of those situations in which you can write in either way. There are other verbs as well. As soon as we come across such situations, I will explain them to you so that you have no doubt. So, in my mind, I always had in mind that show has two different past participle expressions. So, it's correct. I just checked on the internet because maybe I'm mistaken, right? I don't know everything. I remember most of the irregular verbs I've learned since high school, but who knows? Sometimes we make mistakes, right? I make mistakes. Even when recording the video, sometimes I may make some slight mistakes, but then I correct them. That's the most important. It's like you studying English or any other subject. When you study, you learn, but of course you're not perfect. I didn't invent English, so I make mistakes as everyone else, but I try not to make mistakes or make the least mistakes possible. Okay, I was shown my new office. Beth showed me my office. Showed me my office. You see, you have two objects here. So I can write my office was shown or showed to me, okay? So my office, which is the second object, becomes the subject of the passive voice. Or I can use me, which is the first object of the active voice, as the subject of the passive expression. So I was shown my office. You see, there are two different possibilities for the passive voice when you have two objects in the active voice. So that's summarizing everything about it, okay? It was interesting. It was an interesting lesson. You see, you identify some patterns and you learn new expressions, new ways of writing the passive voice. Most importantly, when you see expressions like this, you have to at least understand that it refers to passive voice and not the active voice. It allows you to improve your understanding, make new sentences, and even making questions. For example, Beth showed me my office. Who showed me my office? Or if I write like this, I was shown my new office. I don't know who showed the office to me. Yes, I know, but you don't know who I'm talking about here. I was shown my new office, so you make a question. Who showed you your new office? Somebody. So somebody showed me my new office. Okay, so that's it. I hope you have a great night. I'm going to sleep now. I have a huge need. I have to sleep so much. I'm very tired today, but I'm not sleepy yet. So I will be rolling on bed for some time until I get ready to sleep. So sleep tight. Bye bye.